Hey everyone, Travis Bowman here. Today we're going to have a look at the Koa Pro acoustic guitar by Willow Creek Guitars. We're going to do a demo of the guitar and put it through all its paces, but first let's do a brief overview of the instrument and all of its possibilities. This is an all Koa grand auditorium guitar with a solid top. We've got a bone nut and saddle, and it's got a 5-piece neck, ebony fretboard with abalone Tree of Life inlay, and the bridge is made of ebony as well. There's also a nice abalone binding on the neck and the body of the instrument. This guitar gives you some nice upgrades that are usually typical of some handmade guitars by private luthiers, such as the armrest bevel and the volute behind the headstock. This Koa Pro gives you a 25.4-inch scale length and a nut width of 1 11/16. The guitar comes with a hard case, and you'll find a little humidifier in your guitar when it arrives, which I feel is a pretty nice touch. At a glance, this guitar will definitely turn some heads, and it's the fanciest guitar that Willow Creek currently offers for sale. That being said, if you wanted to change some things about the guitar, they do offer custom builds as well, and you can see all the other guitars that Willow Creek offers on their website in the link below. So all in all, it's a pretty decent acoustic guitar, and that's pretty much it, right? Now, check this out. Everything that you're hearing is coming out of the guitar itself. That's right, this guitar isn't even plugged in. The guitar itself is actually quite stunning, but the true star of the show is the pickup that's inside of it. What you're hearing is the FXA integrated effects processor. This system has a speaker inside of the guitar that allows you to get reverb, chorus, and delay effects without ever needing to plug the guitar into an amp. However, if you choose to plug into an amp, all of those effects will go into the amp as well. You've got an internal microphone inside of the guitar, but that can only be accessed if you're plugged in. Honestly, this isn't the first time that we've seen something like this for the acoustic guitar. External pickup devices like the X2 Double and the Tonewood amp will get you similar results. However, those two devices don't have built-in Bluetooth. Now, you can connect your phone or a similar device to the pickup system, and whatever audio you want will be pumped out through the speaker that's inside of the guitar. This could be anything from a pre-recorded backing track for you to practice some solos on, or even a popular song on Spotify or something like that, so you can play along with the actual studio recording of your favorite band. We'll discuss more possibilities later on in the video. If you don't want to mess with the Bluetooth for whatever reason, they've got you covered with a 3.5mm auxiliary headphone jack right there. All of this is powered by these two huge 18650 lithium batteries inside of the guitar. You can charge them up with this convenient micro USB charge port right here on the side. Willow Creek states that the pickup will last anywhere from 20 to even 60 hours on a single charge. In my experience, this varies depending on what you're doing with it. Using Bluetooth along with the effects will drain the batteries just a bit faster. So isn't this kind of like gimmicky? Oh, absolutely. But on the other hand, there are a lot of really cool practical things that you can do with this. So let's get into the demo of the guitar, acoustically and otherwise. We're going to test out everything that this instrument is capable of, and then we're going to have a discussion about it. So let's get into the demo. All right, now let's have a discussion about this Koa Pro from Willow Creek Guitars. The biggest compliment about the guitar, just looking at it, is how beautiful it is. If you check out that Tree of Life abalone inlay there, and the Koa is really quite nice. It's got a solid top, and it's really aesthetically pretty. It really is. It's a really, really gorgeous guitar. I've had a couple of my guitar students tell me that, and I've had a couple of non-guitar students that have played several different guitars. They all agree. Yeah, it's a super pretty guitar for sure. But since we're discussing the guitar, I figured we better get the negatives out of the way first, because actually overall I really do like this instrument. It's a really, really nice guitar overall, but no review would be complete without a little nitpick here and there, so that's exactly what we're about to do here. It's got the arm bevel here, and that's a really, really nice touch. You usually don't see arm bevels on guitars unless they're pretty fancy. And yeah, this is a pretty fancy guitar. However, it's going to be difficult to see on camera, I think, but the arm bevel generally is supposed to be pretty smooth. Here, there is still an edge on the side right there. So that's kind of not as smooth as it should be there, I think. If they had completely smoothed out this edge right there, it would be a much better arm bevel. But it's still nice that it's there. You still get some benefits of that arm bevel. It's just, you still have the edge right there. So that's a little nitpick. Another thing about the guitar, it comes with a really nice case. The case is actually very, very nice. It's a hard shell case. It's nice that they included it. However, this particular model of guitar doesn't really fit inside of the case very snugly, I would say. You can see the clip here of this guitar just kind of sliding around inside of the case, and that's not necessarily a super good thing to have. Honestly, if you're just, you know, taking the guitar here and there around town, it's not going to be a big deal. But once you start toying with the idea of taking the guitar with you on a plane, that is a little concerning. You know, it definitely fits in the case, it's just not snug. It does wobble around in there. And sometimes, you know, when you're taking the case and moving it, you know, to the car and back inside the house and stuff like that, you can kind of hear it moving around. There's no damage to the guitar whatsoever. The guitar has not been damaged anyway, and it shipped overseas like this. So is it a huge deal? No, but I thought it's definitely something that I should mention. Now here's a super nitpick for someone like myself. I'm a fingerstyle guitar player. I do all this sort of percussive stuff, you know, on an acoustic guitar. That's where I come from. That's my bread and butter when it comes to playing an acoustic guitar. This guitar sounds pretty darn good acoustically, But once you start getting into the, you know, hitting of the guitar and whatnot, that's a big test for me when I'm testing out a guitar. You know, how does the quote-unquote bass drum and kick sound? On this particular instrument, those two sounds, the bass and the kick, they're kind of dead sounding. They don't really last very long. There's not too much of a pop there. Is it a huge deal? Probably not. Probably not for you. But, you know, doing percussion and stuff on the guitar, you know, maybe the top is just a hair too thick for that. There's a sweet spot, you know, and luthiers, you know, they will find this stuff out. There's a sweet spot to where you can hit it, and it's got a really nice bass sound. It is kind of dead. It is a little bit stronger of a top than some of the handmade finest, you know, acoustic guitars out there. Is it a big deal? Probably not to you, but definitely for me, it's worth mentioning. Another thing that I wanted to point out was a little bit on the craftsmanship. For the most part, we're getting high grades here. It's very well put together, and I do love that abalone inlay all around the binding of the guitar, as well as, you know, that Tree of Life inlay. That is a super nice touch. It's really, really gorgeous to look at. You know, these are manufactured in China, and there are a few spots worth looking at, particularly the fret dots on the side of your neck here. They're just a little uneven in some spots. Is that a huge deal? No, I don't think so. It's not like they're, you know, missing or anything, or too outrageously off center or anything like that, but it's definitely worth mentioning. So those are just a few little teeny tiny issues that I have with the instrument. But like I said before, overall, I'm really, really liking this guitar, and for a lot of different reasons. It sounds pretty good acoustically, but obviously, like I said, the main draw is going to be this pickup on the side that you have here. It's super cool. It's super cool. And is it like the brand new thing that's coming out that nobody's ever seen before? Absolutely not. We've seen stuff like this before. But the interesting thing about this pickup is that it's actually in an acoustic guitar. A lot of these, you know, Chinese-made pickups that have all these fancy effects that are built into the guitar, with the gimmick of having the effects without needing to plug your guitar in. The common thing is sometimes, you know, they use like carbon fiber instruments, or the guitar is like a mini version of, you know, like a 3/4 size or something like that, or a parlor size or something like that. But this is a full-blown, full-sized acoustic guitar and functions exactly as an acoustic guitar, with or without the pickup. So, I mean, it sounds pretty darn good without all that stuff. But having it in an actual acoustic guitar is a big plus for me. So let's talk about the effects. You've got some delays in reverb, and you can kind of tinker with the knobs to figure out, you know, how much of that reverb or how much of that delay that you want, and that's really nice. As far as like using that though, for me, I mean, yeah, I'll use it every now and again just to kind of mess around, but as for recording or something, probably not. You're probably not going to use the onboard effects for that. But, you know, thinking about, you know, gigs and stuff like that, it might be nice if you're doing like a singer-songwriter thing and you want to just have a little bit of reverb on the guitar while you're doing your thing or whatever like that. There's all sorts of different possibilities with these effects, and to have them acoustically and plugged in is a huge plus. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the Bluetooth technology that's in the guitar. It's super gimmicky. I mean, we know that, yes, it's super gimmicky, having Bluetooth capabilities in an acoustic instrument. Yeah, it's gimmicky, but there are some things that can't be ignored, some practical uses here that's well worth talking about. I'm mostly a by-ear guitar player. I've learned most of what I know by ear. I never learned how to read music, and I never really had that much interest in, you know, like in classically trained style of, you know, guitar playing. Everything that I've picked up has come from my ear. So that being said, I do a lot of arranging, for the instrument. I do a lot of, you know, pop songs and stuff like that, and video game tunes. I love doing that stuff, man. I love trying to figure out stuff by ear because it's a big challenge and it's an extremely rewarding experience if you can make that video game tune or that pop tune and have that sound come out of your guitar that you're making with your own two hands. It's a really, really cool experience, and it's a lot of fun to put together. Now, usually my process, if I'm trying to figure out a tune that I've never heard before, you know, or maybe I have heard it, but I'm not that familiar with it, I'll probably, you know, save myself some time and look up the chord chart if it's a popular enough song. But sometimes I don't have that luxury, especially when we're talking about some Sega Genesis tunes and stuff like that. So I'll just have to use my ear. Usually what I will do is put on my headphones and I'll sit here with my acoustic guitar and hunt and peck for my bass notes to figure out what chords are being played, and then I'll hunt my melodies on my treble strings. And that process has worked very well for me. But having it come out of the same instrument is a really, really interesting experience, man, because, you know, when you're hunting and pecking for that melody note, it's so surreal to find it and then have it come out, because those vibrations will come out on the same instrument, and you can tell, like, oh, it's this A note here, and that's really, really cool. I really enjoy that, actually. It's a brand new way to kind of explore different you know, different sounds and stuff like that, especially for somebody like myself that's always trying to arrange stuff or figure something out by ear. And I don't have to be tethered to my computer with my headphones to do that, which is really nice, having the Bluetooth capability. And it works with YouTube, by the way. I neglected to mention that earlier. It's not just for like Spotify or Pandora or something. Whatever YouTube video that you want. And the cool part about it is that no matter what you're playing, you know, off of Spotify, or if you just have like a music player on your phone, you've taken and dragged and dropped whatever song that you want. You know, say you're working on something like a project and you're trying to jam on top of that. There's a button on here to turn on and off your Bluetooth, and I'll see if the microphone can pick this up. So I'm going to turn the guitar on right here, turn on the Bluetooth. There it goes. See, it paired with my phone, which I have in my pocket. But let's say I'm playing something here on my phone, like this backing track that I have pulled up here. And I'm going to go ahead and play it, press play on my phone. Turn it down a little bit. So you can hear it, and I can choose to pause it on the phone like that. But if I don't want to worry about that, I can just have it playing. I can press the button and it'll start and stop, which is really, really nice to have that on board on the guitar. So I'm gonna press that again, and now it's stopped. You can do that with Spotify or whatever you choose to use to play music. I thought that was a really cool touch. It's just keeping that much more focus on your instrument, which is really, really nice. Now, I'm also a guitar teacher. I teach online and I teach in person a lot too, and I've got several different students of all sorts of different skill levels. And you know, some of those are children, some of those are kids who are brand new to the instrument, and you know, I've been there. So it's nice to have that variety of different students. But what's really cool is if I'm working with a guy that wants to get better at soloing and improvising, we can play that backing track together. And instead of, you know, using my phone or my computer speakers or something like that, he's sitting right here in front of me. So it's blasting that backing track out at him. And not only is he hearing it at very clear, full volume, but so am I, because I can feel those vibrations in the guitar. And sitting behind the instrument, you can definitely hear it very well. And it's just another dynamic. It's gimmicky, sure, but there are uses for it. And I've really taken to using this guitar as my primary instrument for teaching as well. You know, I've had this instrument for about a month now, and I can't say that there's anything wrong with this pickup system. I haven't had any issues or anything like that. I've drained the battery a couple of times, and it just, you know, flat out just doesn't work. If you're using it and the batteries get low enough, they will cut off like that. These batteries in here are very robust, and once you charge them up, they do actually last a long time. I'm not necessarily sure about the 60 hours, but for somebody that teaches at a local store Monday through Friday, it's nice to be able to use this throughout the week. Granted, we're doing 30 minutes at a time, and I'll turn it off, after the lesson is over and everything like that. But throughout the week, this has lasted, and I only have to charge it, maybe a couple of times, and I really tested that. These batteries are no joke, man. They last for quite some time. So there's all sorts of different practical uses that you can do with this instrument, and I've really taken a liking to it. You can see the batteries in there, the little green batteries up in there. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It really is a gorgeous guitar. Willow Creek actually makes quite a few different instruments of different, tone woods and stuff like that, and they have different options for your pickup system as well. This is the highest end guitar and the highest end pickup system. And unless you do a custom order, I don't think you can get this guitar without the system in there. I might be wrong, but this is just kind of how they come stock. They do have several different options for custom builds and stuff like that. So that could be some very interesting possibilities as well if you're looking to get a guitar with this system inside of it. Now, believe it or not, this guitar, for what it is, it's very fancy guitar, lots of all these fancy appointments and stuff like that, and the pickup system with these hefty batteries. This guitar retails for just over $1,000, and that's pretty nice, I think. For what you're getting with this instrument, the pickup system alone is a really, really cool thing. But think about it, man. This is a really nice guitar with a solid top and some pretty exotic tone woods with the Koa, and you've got the inlay and the locking tuners, by the way, too. I haven't used them personally myself because, like I said, I'm a fingerstyle player. I go through a bajillion different tunings in a week, man. So I just leave those alone. I don't lock anything because, like I said, going through the tunings, it would just be a nightmare to unlock them and mess around with them. So, yeah. But all of these different features for $1,000 with the hard case, that's pretty darn good, I think. A lot of people would see a lot of value in this. And a lot of people wouldn't be able to get past the gimmick as well. But hopefully, now that we've kind of, played around with some different ideas of what you can do with this, it would be well worth it for you to take a look at it, at least. Now, here's a little kind of a blooper that I didn't mean to happen. While I was doing the demo recording for this, somebody called me, and you could hear the phone ringing coming out of the guitar. Hello? Hello? I didn't really think about that while I was recording, and it kind of ruined the take or whatever, but it's not that big of a deal. If you turn your airplane mode on while you're messing around with it, then nobody can call you. Otherwise, you'll have the music stop, and then your phone will start ringing throughout the guitar. So just keep that in mind. But overall, yeah, I really do like this guitar a lot. It's not necessarily going to be the highest end, fanciest, playing guitar or anything like that. There are luthier-made guitars that are going to be built a little bit better. But for what you're getting from a factory guitar, this is pretty nice. I'm thinking about a Taylor and a Martin. In America and pretty much everywhere else in the world, that's like the acoustic guitar, the fanciest one that you can think of. Now, me being a fingerstyle guitar player, knowing a lot of different luthiers around the planet, I hardly ever think of Taylor and Martin as some of the best anymore, just because I've been fortunate enough to have my hands on a lot of really, really nice high-end instruments. This one, it's pretty nice for what it is. I will say that. It plays really nice, and it sounds really good, and just having that pickup there is a big plus. So bravo to the guys at Willow Creek for even, putting this together. Having an acoustic guitar that's actually a functioning acoustic instrument with this kind of pickup is actually a pretty good idea. And I'm glad that they sent it to me for review. And feel free to check out the website because they do have several different guitars and different pickup systems. So if you're interested in this at all, I would highly encourage you to check that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my review of the Koa Pro by Willow Creek Guitars. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about this instrument. Do you ever see yourself, truly using it in any different shape or form, whether it's just sitting on the back porch wanting to jam with some reverb and a backing track,
or practical uses like what I was talking about, you know, as far as like recording, or using this for a different purpose like teaching, anything like that, or learning a new song. If you're trying to learn a new song, this might be a different way to kind of approach it. And like I said, it's a very interesting experience having that track come out of the guitar versus headphones. But very curious to know what you guys think about it. You know, if you're interested in guitar lessons, I've got some free lessons here on YouTube, from anything from beginner fingerstyle stuff all the way to the more advanced fingerstyle-ish YouTube series where I break down some of my heroes' favorite and best techniques, fingerstyle techniques. So I've got several episodes of that if you want to give that a look and a watch and a listen and all that good stuff. And I'm also on Patreon if you're looking for further instruction. Thanks very much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let's start a discussion in that comment section below. I want to know what you guys think about the Willow Creek Koa Pro with this fancy pickup inside of it. Thanks very much for checking out the video. I'll catch you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.